I'm issuing an executive order today mandating that all restaurants and bars statewide close to dine-in customers effective today at 6 p.m.
That was Governor Mills speaking 5 years ago at the start of COVID. It was a shock for people across the state to hear and then to see businesses once packed with people turn into ghost towns. The closure of Maine businesses, restaurants, and bars had large ripple effects on our economy. People lost their jobs and some businesses were never able to reopen. Well, now 5 years later, business owners who managed to make it through say they're thankful to be on the other side. And surprisingly, as News Center Maine's Caroline LaCour shows us tonight, a lot of industries were able to recover quickly.
Trying times for everybody.
Businesses thrown into a time of uncertainty no one saw coming.
The first time, we're down, but Monday, Tuesday, crickets.
When we checked in with business owner Mike Concannon of Sea Salt Gourmet Cafe in Cape Elizabeth in March 2020, he, like many others, were trying to stay afloat during unprecedented times.
Our sales dropped probably by 90%, at least 80% for the first probably month or so.
Now looking back 5 years later, Concannon says business has bounced back just as strong as before, but there were bumps in the road getting there.
We had the plastic up everywhere. We had the plastic up, I think, for, I bet it was a couple of years.
From pivoting to curbside pickup to selling quarantine essentials.
People asking if we could sell toilet paper and stuff that we never sold before.
Maine State Chamber of Commerce President Patrick Woodcock says despite the challenges, Maine's economy is looking strong today.
Reflecting on 5 years, it is remarkable how the economy has changed, how some states have experienced challenges that we haven't.
According to the Maine Department of Labor, initial job loss dipped 15% at the start of the pandemic, a sharper decline than the 2008 recession. However, that loss recovered at a much quicker pace, with jobs remaining 4.3% below pre-pandemic levels in 2021.
We had a lot of closures, but businesses were tested. It really illustrated the resourcefulness.
One sector that really took a hit was vacation land's bread and butter, hospitality and tourism. Following travel restrictions to out-of-staters, visitation and spending dropped over 25% from 2019 to 2020.
A lot of back and forth, hearing from businesses, hearing from people across the state, what were the concerns.
Luckily, Maine is known for having a lot to offer outdoors, something that helped the hospitality industry also bounce back quickly.
We're still seeing very strong participation numbers across all types of activities in the outdoors, and a lot of that was because that was the one thing people could do.
Concannon says even amid the uncertainty, Mainers never lost their willingness to help out their neighbors.
Once we kind of got back into it, sales really did surge because I think a lot of the local people wanted to support local businesses.
In Cape Elizabeth, Caroline LaCour, News Center, Maine.
Of course, not every small business was fortunate enough to reopen after the pandemic shutdowns. Many restaurants in particular have shuttered in the years following, due in part to rising costs and the struggle to hire and pay workers. According to our partners at the Portland Press Herald, in Portland alone, there were about 300 independent restaurants, bars, and cafes at the start of the pandemic. Since then, about 100 have closed, but around 100 new restaurants have also opened in Portland. Though for the restaurants and the bars that survived the pandemic, it has not been without struggles. According to the National Restaurant Association, 43% of restaurants nationwide still have pandemic-related debt. You can find our full special, Living with COVID, 5 years later in Maine, right now on News Center Maine Plus. If you don't already have News Center Maine Plus, you can download it for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.